Hello and welcome to a Fran Farewell, a very special 30-minute series produced by OwlSports Update. A Fran Farewell is a send-off to the very dedicated and longtime Big Five basketball icon, Fran Dunphy. I'm your host, Sarah Metz. The next 30 minutes will be packed as we will take you through the career of Fran Dunphy, parts of 6 decades from player to coach. We'll sit down with Temple's head man, hear from some of his former players, and talk with rival coaches from the Philadelphia area and from the AAC. Philadelphia's local basketball historian, Dick Girardi, is in the house to talk about Dunphy's impact not only at Temple, but in the Big Five and beyond. And you won't want to miss the end of our show when we will get comfy with Dunphy, where Coach answers questions that most would never even think to ask. First, to understand the impact Fran Dunphy has had on basketball in Philadelphia, you need to go back to the 1960s, where it all basically began. Here's Jimmy Freeze with our Dunphy timeline.
He's called Mr. Big Five for good reason. 30 years as a head coach in the Big Five, the only man to coach 2 different Big Five schools, and not to mention the winningest coach in Big Five history.
A minute 39 on the clock and a foul by Valchione, and Dunphy gets 1 and 1.
But Fran Dunphy's impact on college basketball began well before his coaching days. It started more than 50 years ago,
1967 to be exact, as a player for LaSalle under Hall of Fame coach Tom Golo.
His time with the Explorers included a 23-1 record his junior year. He was captain and averaged almost 19 points per game during his senior year. Dunphy jumped into coaching at Army as an assistant in 1971, during the same time as another famous college coach, Coach Mike Krzyzewski.
After other assistant coaching jobs at LaSalle, American, and Penn, Dunphy finally got the call to be head man at Penn in 1989.
In his 17 years with the Quakers, Dunphy became known for his trademark mustache and for winning.
Dunphy led the Quakers to
10 Ivy League titles and 3 Big Five crowns.
Dunphy's final coaching stop brought him to Temple in 2006,
where he replaced Hall of Famer John Chaney. Here, Dunphy continued the tradition of winning with 7 NCAA tournament bids and 5 conference titles. Whether it's his work on the court or off the court with Coaches versus Cancer or with Big Brothers Big Sisters, Fran Dunphy's success and impact isn't always counted in wins and losses.
Yet his legacy will always be synonymous with Big Five basketball and the city of Philadelphia.
Now that we've seen a timeline, it's time to hear from the man himself. I had the opportunity to sit down one-on-one with Temple's coach of 13 years. My first question to Dunphy: what is it about coaching college basketball that has kept him in the game dating back to his first job in the early 70s?
I think the excitement and the opportunity for competition. You know, you get a little bit older and you no longer can compete yourself, but you can watch these young men who you are in charge of compete. I just think it's just fun to go to work every day. The things that you face are different every single day. You're worried about these guys. They're basically your sons. I'm understanding of who they are and where they are and what kind of lot in life they have right now. But I want more. I want more for them. I want them to give everything they possibly can to live life to the fullest, to think about life not being about you. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with those people that are around you.
What are you going to miss the most?
The relationship with the guys, you know, the watching the kids, having your own team, watching them grow. That's the thing that I think you'll miss always. But I'm hoping I'll get to go to all the games and I'll sit up way up in the top of the stands. You know, I'll sit there with a soda and a bag of chips and enjoy it.
Finally relax.
I'll enjoy watching it from a different perspective.
Now, there is an assumption that you'll be done coaching this year, but I don't think anyone has actually ever asked you. Do you plan to coach at any level, you know, in the future?
There may be some other opportunities out there that I hope I'm worthy of. I would never say never to anything. I'm hoping to teach, to get in the classroom with people like you who are going to teach me far more than I'm going to teach you. And I say it to our class as well, and I'm going to say it to you. You spend all of your time trying to make life happen. And the reality is life is happening around you every single day, every single moment. So give somebody 5 minutes of your time and listen to what they're saying. And it may lead you in a whole different path, a whole different direction that you never thought would happen to you. So that's the only thing that I'm thinking about now. What's going to happen to me? I'm sort of excited by the unknown.
So what does it mean to you to see how much of an impact you've had on Temple, Big Five, basketball in general?
I can't say to you today that I think about that even a little bit. I do think of the reverse of what the impact that Temple, the University of Pennsylvania, the Big Five, Philadelphia has had on me. It's a phenomenal opportunity that I have had here at Temple. I'm so grateful for it. Grateful for my time at the University of Pennsylvania, grateful for my time in Philadelphia, and I hope I have returned it in some small way. That's all, that I've done a good job, that you did well. You did well. You did good. I hope I did good. You know, no, it's bad English, but I hope I did good. And as I say to my class and to my team, and they all roll their eyes when I do, it would be nice when you leave college, you would be on this upwardly mobile path, and you would never have any dips in that path. Upwardly mobile rise. Guess what? It ain't happening. You're going to get dips. And how do you handle a dip is really how life will be for you. So that's my parting shot, that life is really what you make it. And try your best to make life good for your children and then to have them pass that on. And if we all did that, we'd have a hell of a life.
We are just getting started with our Fran farewell. When we come back, we welcome former Daily News writer Dick Girardi to talk about Dunphy's time at Temple and the possibility of him finding his way to the Basketball Hall of Fame. But first, Dunphy has touched so many over the years. To say thanks, the athletic department started a video series called Dear Dunph. Our first comes from the most familiar face in all of college basketball. We'll be right back.
The most genuine guy in our profession is you. There's nobody as good as you, buddy. Nobody. And the people at Penn and Temple have been blessed to have you. The game has been blessed by your presence as a player and a coach. Congratulations on an amazing career.
Welcome back to a Fran farewell. When you've been a head coach for 30 years, you tend to have admirers. In Fran's case, his biggest fans often come from the opposing bench.
He is the epitome of class and humility.
If I was on a ship that was sinking, I would want him to be my roommate.
I love Fran Dunphy. He's one of the true gentlemen in our business. His teams are always so well prepared.
There's very few people, I think, in college basketball world that can't find anybody to say anything negative about. You know, like you find a lot of people say something negative about me, I'm sure. But I doubt you'd find anybody to say something bad about Fran, and I think that'll be his, that's a pretty good legacy to leave.
Fran just understands people. He's just a great person, I really enjoy getting to know him. He's also an outstanding coach.
I coached against him in Puerto Rico the first time. He beat us in a very, very close game with Pepe Sanchez. And then 3 times last year, all the games were epic games.
It's like, come on, man, that's my first game as a college coach, and I'm playing against a legend. But it was really cool. You know, the one thing that I saw as the game unraveled was that his team was more connected and more disciplined and just more experienced.
He's been important to our league. You know, Temple has really been one of our good teams, you know, as we got this league going. You know, they've been a tournament team. In fact, there have been some years when they should have been a tournament team and weren't. But Fran never complains, you know, he's got too much class for that.
From where I sit, honestly, I mean this sincerely, and I said at the beginning, He's one of the classiest people I have ever seen in our profession.
I think the reason why he's a great coach is because he cares about young people, and I think he's a great ambassador for Temple and for LaSalle and for Philadelphia Big Five.
I hope people across the country actually understand what he has stood for, how great a coach, how great a person, how great an ambassador, how great a role model that he has been. And I mean that sincerely.
He's got me on the grace part as well. He's a graceful man.
Was a guardian of the game, a steward of the game. I'll always appreciate that. And I hope he's not a dying breed. You know, when you lose a guy like Fran from college basketball, you hope there's somebody else that can take his place, because if not, then that's a hole.
One guy who has seen every coach we've just heard from is former Daily News writer Dick Girardi. He's been covering college basketball in Philly dating back to Dunphy's assistant coaching days at LaSalle in the mid-'80s. Mr. Girardi, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, so let's get started right away. What is it that started, considering Fran is such a great ambassador for college basketball, and more specifically, what is it about him that is just so admirable?
Well, he's a unique individual. When I first got around here, he was the guy who really helped me along as an assistant at LaSalle, sort of showing me the ropes of college basketball in Philadelphia, and I never forgot that. And the fact that he's the most unique guy as a coach in this city's history that coached 2 Big Five teams. Nobody else has ever done it. Won all those conference championships at Penn, and then comes to Temple, succeeding an absolute legend in Coach Chaney. Had never been in a conference tournament, shows up in conference tournaments and just wins 3 in a row in the Atlantic 10.
And now, so where does Fran Dunphy lie if you were to group together, the greatest Big Five coaches in all time?
If there's a list of 5, you go back to the Hall of Famers, Temple's coach Harry Litwack, John Chaney, Jack Ramsey at St. Joe's, Jay Wright at Villanova is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Fran would be on my list of 5, given all his accomplishments, all the wins, and probably more importantly than anything, Sarah, the impact he's had on all the players that he's coached.
And now he has won a ton of games, but his postseason runs, usually don't last that long at Temple. So how will that fit into his legacy, do you think?
Yeah, to me, it's sometimes that's about the matchups. Who did you play? And at Penn all those years, he was an underdog every single time. And I think he's only been favored maybe 2 times in all those. That to me is not a big deal. I want to know, how did you do over the long haul? And nobody in this city's ever done it any better than Fran.
And now, so do you see Fran making it into, the College Hall of Fame?
I would hope he would get serious consideration. He deserves it, again, for the uniqueness of his career. Obviously, he was a great player, too. That's part of it. And wouldn't it be nice here at Temple in this final season that they make a nice extended run in the NCAA tournament?
Of course. And now we aren't talking about the future too much today, but does Dunphy leaving Temple in a good position as the team transitions to, the new head coach, Aaron McKee?
Clearly he does. Look, over time there's been some great successes. There have been some years that weren't as good as people hoped, sure, including the coaches. But yeah, I think Aaron has got a great thing going. The fact that Fran is going to leave him, with some good players and obviously a great legacy of success.
Well, thank you so much for coming in, Mr. Girardi, and taking the time to, just talk to us.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Coming up next, we take a look at some of Dunphy's dedication to causes off the court. But first, another Dear Dunph, this one from Hawk Hill. We'll be back after this.
You've been genuine, you've been caring, you've been professional, but you've been human. Knowing you has been an honor and a treasure. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for all you've done for me.
For more than 25 years, the Coaches vs. Cancer program has raised awareness for patients worldwide. Since 1998, Fran Dunphy has been a member on the program's council. It's just one part of what Fran Dunphy does off the court to help others. Adam Cronali takes a look.
To call Fran Dunphy a college basketball coach is really only telling half the story. He's a man that has put others before himself ever since his days as the head coach at UPenn in the late 80s. Every January, the Coaches vs. Cancer organization raises money in the fight against cancer, and locally, Fran Dunphy is one of its leaders.
We're doing it for a great cause because there's a lot of people out there suffering with this hideous disease that we're trying to, make a difference in life, and so I'm grateful for it.
One of the most visible displays in this fight comes with the National Suits and Sneakers Week in college basketball, and Dunphy styles it in yellow laces.
And the laces actually are for a young lady who was a big Michigan State fan. Her name was Lacey, and they made a big deal out of it, and I think it's awesome. So these are laces that we all wear. It's our statement to say we want to do more. We're doing a lot, but we need to do more, and we need to try to help people who have cancer.
Over the years, Dunphy has received countless awards for his work off the court. Most recently, he was honored with the Dean Smith Award this past October and the Philly Sports Writers Association Good Guy Award in January.
Just try to matter a little bit in this world, and if we do, what a hell of a place it is to live. Anytime you get one of those, you don't really deserve it. It's not like I did anything special, and I didn't do anything more special than anybody else did. Life is not about you, it's about the people that are around you.
Dunphy also devotes time to the big brothers and big sisters of Greater Philadelphia's Board of Directors, and each year Penn and Temple both participate.
I think it's up to every individual to say, how can I help in some small way? It's somebody giving something up for somebody who's not quite as fortunate.
Coaches vs. Cancer has more than 2,000 coaches involved and more than $110 million raised. Over the years, the program has worked with the American Cancer Society to help increase the number of cancer survivors to more than 15 million strong, and Fran Dunphy is a part of this effort. Reporting from the newsroom, I'm Adam Canali. Sarah, back to you.
Thank you so much, Adam. We've talked about his legacy, his rivals, and his time off the court, but we can't forget about the players. 30 years of head coaching, that means Fran Dunphy has impacted hundreds of players. Let's take a look at our list of best players to suit up during Dunphy's time at Temple. We start off with Quentin DeCozy, a 6'5" shooting guard who scored more than 1,500 points during his time at Temple. He led the team in points per game during his senior year and was all AAC and all Big Five that year. A few years earlier, guard Juan Fernandez ran the show, scoring more than 1,200 points and dishing out more than 400 assists. His buzzer beater over Penn State in the first round of the 2011 NCAA tournament is still one of the greatest shots in program history. Now let's go with big boy Lavoy Allen. The 6'9" power forward was a two-time all-conference selection. He is 5th all-time in field goal percentage. Allen also played 6 years in the NBA. Khalif Wyatt, this guy was known to get under Dunphy's skin during the early years of the program, but he was definitely a player. More than 1,500 points. That included a 31-point effort in the first round of the 2013 NCAA tournament in Temple's big win over NC State. And finally, one of the first leaders during Fran Dunphy's time at Temple, Deontay Christmas. He sits 4th all-time in scoring at Temple and 1st all-time in three-pointers. These might be 5 of the best Fran Dunphy has ever coached at Temple, but the impact he's had on his former players is hard to properly capture. There were dozens at Temple alone, including a handful now who are helping us take a look back.
First impression of Coach Dunphy, he was very professional, well-mannered, well-spoken.
Once he walked in, he didn't give us no BS. He came right in, assertive. He knew what he wanted.
His first day of fall semester, we had a team meeting, and right at that point, we knew he meant business.
I'm telling you, Coach, when he first got to Temple, man, he was crazy. He would literally walk into the gym and just kick the ball into the stands. He was like, let's have a good day.
I remember, getting a scratch in my face and at practice going hard, and Coach Dunphy said, "Forget your face, you get another one." I said, "Forget my face, I get another one." I ain't never see somebody get a second face, but I seen what he meant by that. It's just play through whatever.
And he just told us, he's like, I don't care who played last year. I don't care if you were the leading scorer. I don't care if you led the league in minutes. I
I'm going to play the guys that I feel need to be on the court. And from there, I was sold from there.
I see why he's been so respected and so successful, and all the players have come out better men after they've been through his program.
He just helped me grow, like not just inside of the locker room on the basketball court. He just really, really helped me grow as a person, as a father figure.
I was on my way out of here as far as academically. And he came in and he straightened me right up. Then he had told me like, yo, you know what, if you get your degree, I'll shave my mustache. I was like, what? You had your mustache for like 30 years. He was like, no, you do that. That's how serious I am about it. I'm like, okay, I didn't think it was a big deal. I get down here, it was like cameras and everything set up. I'm like, really gonna do this? Like, I had my iPad with me and I'm just recording and he just started shaving.
If he decides to go off into the sunset, I think he'd just be a great citizen to the community, because if you watch Dunph, when the camera's off, he's picking up trash, walking down Broad Street, he's waving, saying hi.
He's been there through thick and thin, through my best times and my worst times. And I don't think I've ever had a chance to sit down and just think of everything. So if I could say anything to him, it would just be thank you, man. Thank you for your love and your support, your honesty, never judging nobody, and just always being a stand-up guy.
Still to come, we'll take a lighter look at Coach Fran Dunphy as we get comfy with Dunphy, where Coach talks about Philly cheesesteaks, Willie Mays, and even Queen Latifah. But first, a Dear Dump from the Sixers.
And so on behalf of our organization, the Philadelphia 76ers, and you know, myself and my staff, fantastic, unbelievable. We're all getting quite old. To achieve the things that you've achieved and have the longevity that you've had, much respect. I hope you enjoy retirement. Thanks, Coach.
Welcome back to a Fran Farewell. We want to end our show with something that we hope will make you smile. Back in 2009, former Temple students Rudy Mezzi and Dan McKinney sat down with Dunphy prior to the start of his 4th season. They had some questions for Coach, but not really your typical questions, and they called it Comfy with Dunphy. Here's Coach Dunphy circa 2009.
It is time to get comfy with Coach Fran Dunphy. Comfy with Dunphy, comfy with Dunphy, comfy. Comfy with Dunphy, episode number 1. Let's get started. Coach Dunphy, who is your favorite athlete of all time?
My favorite athlete of all time, man, that's a tough question to answer. I'm a big baseball historian, you know, so I would probably say Willie Mays.
Okay.
My favorite athlete of all time.
All right, that's interesting. If you could have dinner with anyone, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
I'd like to hang out with Queen Latifah.
Really?
That? Yeah.
Why?
I just think she's neat. I think she's cool. I think she has a great personality, terrific actress, good singer. She's one that comes to mind.
Do you enjoy the movie Beauty Shop?
I do. I think she's pretty funny. There's a lot of movies I enjoy, but that was pretty funny.
What would you say your favorite movie is?
My favorite movie, that's probably, I did a review of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That was pretty funny. I enjoyed that very much. Okay. Stripes was another one of my favorites.
Okay.
Music from the Heart with Meryl Streep. How about that? Don't know it, do you, Rude?
No. What is your favorite food?
Favorite food? I'm an Italian food buff. My mother's Italian, so I ate that as I was growing up, and so yeah, I'm a big Italian food guy.
Okay.
If I had to take a second stab at it, I'm a big steak guy. I enjoy a good steak. Now.
Steak sandwich?
I like that too. I like cheesesteaks.
What's your favorite place?
Ooh, I'm a Geno's and Pat's kind of guy. You know, I like the ambiance down there. You got two different kind of places.
Gotta pick one.
I couldn't.
All right.
Couldn't. Yeah, they're both great.
After more than 50 years with Big 5 basketball, the winningest coach is leaving quite a legacy behind. His time here at Temple is coming to an end at least as a coach, but not likely as a fan or an ambassador of basketball in Philadelphia and the Big Five. Most will agree saying farewell to the sport Fran Dunphy loves the most will be his hardest goodbye. We leave you now with some final sights and sounds of Mr. Big Five. I'm Sarah Metz. We hope you enjoyed a Fran farewell.